you have any idea how hard it is to go undefeated?
The New England perfect season remains alive.
It's 2007.
It's Apple's combination iPod, cell phone, and internet device.
And the Patriots are on the brink of something that had not been done in 35 years.
You guys know how difficult it is to go undefeated at any level in any sport, especially in the National Football League.
The only other time it happened, of course, was 1972. Richard Nixon was the president.
I'm not a crook.
Video games, what? And the Miami Dolphins went 17-0, including postseason. But that was before Tom Brady and a high-flying offense started obliterating their opponents.
Maroney, look out.
Brady from Moss. Got it back through, another touchdown.
All right, we get it. We all know how it ends.
Oh, my gosh. That's a great catch.
But that's a distraction from the achievement. There's a reason why only 2 NFL teams have ever gone undefeated in a regular season, and why those 2 coaches are the 2 winningest coaches in the Super Bowl era. Winning every single game takes a tremendous commitment and unrelenting focus from every single person in that particular organization. And they have to do it with a target on their back that gets bigger week after week. How do teams withstand that pressure? I'll tell you, it starts at the top. Welcome back to The Verdict, a show about the best debates in sports. This season, we want to know who deserves more credit, Brady or Belichick. Last episode, we made the case for Brady, the most decorated quarterback in NFL history.
To the end zone.
There's not a throw he couldn't make. There's not a throw that he was afraid to make.
Tom's compete level was so high that it raised the entire team's compete level. I'm like, holy crap, this is ridiculous.
You have a winner. You have a leader.
He was completely unstoppable. He was relentless in that pursuit of perfection.
Why don't we put a bow on this, right? I mean, how could you argue against Brady? But hang on. There is a strong case that Belichick was the real difference maker for this dynasty, and we are going to make it. Like Brady, there are 5 reasons why the Patriots lived and died by Belichick's hand. We all know the metaphor. Football is a chess match. It's a game of strategy where the players are pieces and the coaches direct them around the board. But Brady versus Belichick is better served by asking a different question. Who puts those pieces there to begin with?
Belichick had free reign of what happened when it came to running the football team.
Coach Belichick had his hand in every part of this team. There's no doubt that he's the architect of it all.
He had personnel control throughout. He just took on more on his shoulders than any coach in the sport. It's just not how it's typically done.
But Belichick, he liked to have his hands in everything.
He was choosing players to fit what he wanted his team to be.
They're looking for specific guys, and one of them is definitely smart guys that understand the game of football.
Belichick basically crosses off the list anybody who he finds out is stupid. You have to have an ability to digest what he's throwing at them every week because it could be different every week.
Yeah, I've always just been so fascinated that these guys can remember these plays, X, Y, Z, 34, flag, left, right. Then they know like about 400 of these combinations.
You know, and he also was choosing players to fit a culture.
They did a great job of scouting. That this player's a hard worker. That this player's going to do this. Every guy he brought in worked.
I think we had a lot of similar personalities.
And it's like, wow, where did they find guys like that? That's the exact same player that just left.
When a coach builds a team the way Belichick did, it makes him more influential than any single player.
Bill was finding these guys. Doesn't matter if you're a first-round pick or you're a rookie free agent. You want guys that are going to join on to the work ethic, do that little bit extra to help win each week.
And yeah, he drafted Tom Brady.
The question's going to be mobility. He only runs a 5.2, 5.40.
And I think credit Belichick for recognizing in an early stage that this kid had a little something.
Now, this is where I think Bill Belichick deserves a ton of credit.
Tom Brady, like no one looked at him and went,
that's our guy. Like, that's just not, it's not how it went. I don't think anything was being done without somebody named Bill saying, all right, we can do something with that.
Not only does he choose Tom when no one else would, he keeps choosing Tom. That first year, Belichick keeps 4 quarterbacks. No one does that.
A lot of guys would have said, we can't keep this guy. It's a numbers crunch. We got to keep that extra linebacker. But Belichick had enough foresight to say, hey, let's work with this guy. We might have something.
In Brady's second season, Belichick elevates him to be Drew Bledsoe's backup.
In 2001, that was the training camp where he really ascended, and there were veteran backup quarterbacks, and Bledsoe was still there. And every day, you could see him playing well, and you could see that Belichick saw something in him. And so where Tom was really fortunate was to have a coach like Bill Belichick. I'm not sure that every single coach in the NFL would have been able to do that, would have been able to see Tom's genius. It takes a genius to see a genius.
I know what you're thinking. Mr. Mad Dog, doesn't Brady carry the team to the Super Bowl in 2001? Isn't that a function of his intensity and leadership? Not so fast. The decision to play Brady shows who truly created the dynasty.
You want to talk about courage. Sticking with Brady when Bledsoe was healthy a couple months later.
Coach Belichick set down a $100 million quarterback. You tell me any other coach that has to be able to do that, the kahunas to be able to do that. And look at the owner and tell him, this is what I believe. Tom Brady is better than Drew Bledsoe. Nobody else is doing that. Nobody. Who's going to sit down a $100 million quarterback? Nobody. Belichick has the balls to do it. He can do it. Okay? He's got it.
Okay, so Belichick picks the players, and he picked Brady. But it doesn't stop there. Belichick had an ability to improve every player on his teams.
People tend to think of the NFL draft as the players being fully formed, like they are what they are on draft day. The NFL is a developmental league.
Football is the most complex game. His whole thing is teaching you the sport. He was really interested in players who understand the whole picture.
What he wanted to do was change your mental aspect of the game.
You know, last episode we talked about Tom Brady's offensive brilliance. But this football knowledge, folks, it had to come from somewhere. Belichick's coaching is more responsible for Tom Brady than people realize.
Bill Belichick made Tom Brady Tom Brady.
Brady didn't walk into the building as the Tom Brady that we know now. Belichick made it a point to try to help Brady become the best quarterback that he could be, and he poured a lot of effort and hours and time and investment into doing that. The way that Belichick coached him and taught him football helped his career in a way that I don't think would have happened if he had gone anywhere else.
No chance, no how, Tom Brady would be Tom Brady if he didn't go to the exact right situation. No chance.
Brady became Brady because his understanding of the game was more sophisticated than perhaps anyone else who ever played the position. And if you think that happened by accident, then, with all due respect, you have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, Mad Dog, we get it. Belichick coaches Brady, but come on, it's Tom Brady. My mom would look good coaching the GOAT.
Brady hit as he throws, and Tom Brady got hit right on the knee. He got hit right on the knee.
Well, what happens if you don't have Brady?
Brady goes down in the first quarter of the 2008 season with a knee injury.
First game of the year. And I'll never forget, it was this eerie feeling because the entire stadium went silent, like hush. And I was like, what's going on? I look back and Tom's laying on the ground.
I just took a deep breath, and then it was like, it's Castle turn.
And I felt that heart rate start to go, especially when Belichick would come up and go, Castle, get your helmet, you're going in. And that was it. There wasn't like, hey, you're gonna do fine, it's gonna be great. No, it was literally just matter of fact, Castle, get your helmet going in.
In comes Matt Castle, a quarterback who had not started a game since high school.
This guy, Matt Castle, for Tom Brady, he hasn't started since he took algebra in like the 8th grade.
It was one of the best coaching performances of Belichick's career.
Belichick's reputation is for, being cold and aloof, but he has a much better read on his players than we ever gave him credit for.
He knew how to push the right buttons, coaches, players, to get them to perform. I think that was his niche because he could have reached a lot of different types of people.
We had a lot of interactions over my 11-year career, and, you know, most of them were kind of one-sided, like, hey, you suck and you need to do this better, and, you know, my expectations are a lot higher for a guy like you. I'm sure he dealt with me far different than he would someone else, right? You know, a wide receiver, you know, those guys, they need a lot of coddling. They, you know, rock, to bed at night a little, you know what I mean?
He never yelled at me. He'll just put his arm around me and say, hey, can't hit that guy late. Go take a couple plays on the sideline. But he's not, what the heck are you doing? The great thing about Coach Belichick is one size doesn't fit all.
We won the first two, we'd lost one. We'd win one, we'd lose one. And there was a lot of noise and a lot of chatter about, are they going to bring in a veteran quarterback? And I remember Coach Belichick coming into me and having a conversation, just saying, hey, Matt, you're doing great. We're making progress. You're our guy. I'm not bringing anybody else in. And that was a big confidence boost for me, just understanding he was going to let me ride this thing out, that Coach Belichick believed in me. He doesn't do that a lot, but I needed it at that point. And for him to recognize that and to come up and be able to say, hey, look, I've got your back. I believe in you. Let's go have some success. That was a turning point for me in that season.
And Matt Castle actually came in, he played well. That shows Coach Belichick's greatness, because Matt Castle wasn't a great quarterback. He was a hard-working kid. He was a good kid. He was smart. He had good size, but he wasn't the best quarterback.
In 2007, Brady was the best quarterback in the sport, bar none. In 2008, the quarterback stats reverted to average under Matt Castle. Yes, the Patriots might have won more at Tom Brady, but who wouldn't have? Belichick was able to win with inferior pieces on that chessboard.
To almost make the playoffs under those conditions, pretty impressive.
I was doing post-game radio. Bill shows up with friends at the actual sports bar where I'm doing this at. And I'm thinking, oh, he's got to be pissed that, you know, the team didn't make the playoffs. And he gives me this bear hug. He goes, what a year. What an unbelievable year, Zoe. And I'm like, that caught me off guard, because Bill's always about win, 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 and results. Looking back on that now, like, that's one of the most big Bill Belichick moments that stand out to me over the course of the 20 years. Great Super Bowl wins. We know the history of it. But to see Bill be happy about getting to 11 wins with Matt Castle, who did not play in college, that he handpicked from USC to come in, and he got to double digits, not even double digits, but 11. And that was, I think, one of Bill's most satisfying years.
Belichick raises Matt Castle's play to league average. How do we know this is Belichick? Well, look what happens when Castle leaves New England. His performance immediately tails off. Think of it like this. A mid-tier quarterback should produce, right? Mid-tier results. Teams with quarterbacks who have an average passer rating rarely perform better than 500. Not the Patriots. They go 11-5 with Castle. The same record, by the way, as the Patriots the year they won their first Super Bowl. If Bill is punching up Castle's performance by multiple wins, think about what he's doing to Brady's. Up next, the ability to motivate, a Belichick specialty.
I've never seen a more reserved group of guys go batshit crazy. The entire team was at the 50-yard line.
Think this debate is resolved? Not even close. Make sure you tune in next time for the final verdict.
We used to say it all the time, in Bill we trust. And we meant it.
He's going to make some moves that you're going to scratch your head at, and you just go, and Bill we trust. I don't know why he did that.
You let the mad scientist cook. I mean, no one knows football better than Bill Belichick.
You go along for the ride, you enjoy, and you win.
Beyond selecting and teaching players, Belichick had another important job, keeping his teams focused, disciplined, and motivated to win, week in and week out, year in and year out. That, my friends, is coaching.
The one thing that I feel like I'm qualified to talk about is coaches, because I've had a lot of them, and Bill was easily the best.
He demanded respect.
He didn't mince words.
He's old school. It doesn't come with a sit down and a hug.
You may not be accustomed to it, but you'll get accustomed to it, and you're going to win football games.
Take a look at these numbers. Belichick is only the third coach in NFL history to win over 300 games. He appears in 12 Super Bowls, wins 8, 6 in New England as head coach. Don't forget the 2 at the Giants. He was very important defensive coordinator. The most divisional championships, the most playoff wins, 19 consecutive winning seasons, and 8 straight AFC championship game appearances. Remember, folks, a coach has a new roster every year. Winning consistently means getting his teams to produce yearly at a high level, regardless of injuries and schedule difficulty. To do that, a great coach needs a system.
You know, the pressure that Bill put on the team, I think it was every single day. It was the culture, right? Pressure was the name of the game.
The intensity was always high. That's how Belichick set it up. You play on Sunday like you practice during the week.
You know, pressure was applied across the board all the time.
This was a very heavy strictures place. You know, I knew where I was going to be every 15 minutes of my day, basically.
He knew what everyone was doing, where they should be. I want you on time for this. I want you in the workouts. We're going to do this.
It's like there are start times. There's a pit in the stomach of 53 guys about not being a millisecond late to that meeting. You know, I had nightmares for years post-career about alarms going off at the right time.
His style was consistently miserable at times, but it was consistent.
We always used to joke, affectionately so, a Bill Belichick season, we should have been credited for more than 1 year per season. Maybe a year and a quarter, cumulatively, we end up with an extra couple. Like, it wears on you. It's difficult. It's not for everyone.
And like anything in life, winning takes care of everything.
You get sick of him, you're angry at him. Yeah, but you love the guy because he puts you in a position to win. He made you a better football player. He made you a better teammate.
It takes discipline. It takes accountability. It takes for him to push you in order for you to win these championships. You don't see the Cowboys winning championships.
It was like the better they got, the harder Belichick coached them.
You know, that was typical Coach Belichick. You go out and you play great football, and he doesn't focus on any of that.
We even came in, on a Monday morning. We just blew out a team like 40-0, and we used to call it the lowlights.
He shows 10 clips of just terrible football.
Brady loses the football, and it floats into the hands of Clowney.
And he doesn't care if you're Brady, McGinnis, Andruzzi, Colpin.
And then you look at the guy, didn't we just beat them by like 40 points? It's like, yeah, but he makes you feel like you lost by like 3 touchdowns. He was doing that because it kept us focused, it kept us motivated, and it kept us in that moment.
You want to talk about intensity? That's intensity, and it stretches to every corner of Bill's organization. Brady isn't running practices, and Brady isn't setting schedules. But just when you think Belichick might be the most sour man on earth, he takes you by surprise.
The offensive line had been begging Bill to go for it on 4th and short. And he decided to do it in this game. It was a 4th and inches, and they didn't get it. He just rips into the offense for not being able to get this 4th and inches.
And, he is dog cussing you.
And he says, 4th and inches, 4th and inches, 4th in the size of my dick, and we can't get it.
Yeah, they should have been able to get at least that 1 inch, I'm just
I don't remember a whole lot, but I remember that one.
I don't think a guy like Belichick ever thinks they're doing great. Belichick is always looking at things that we can improve upon, and he's taking no score for granted.
Part of keeping an NFL team focused is blocking out unwanted distractions. And for pro athletes, believe me, lots of it. Fame, money, ego, factors that can destroy a locker room. And the best coaches limit all of that nonsense.
The only team that would stop my reports and say, oh, no, we got to write this and write that, would be the Patriots.
Well, you think having a 37-year-old on to Cincinnati? Okay, do you feel like the talent you have here is good? We're getting ready for Cincinnati.
I mean, it was frustrating as a reporter how disciplined they were and how on message they could stay.
And it all came from the top, from Belichick.
Right now, we're focused on Cleveland. Not worried about last week, not worried about next week, not worried about last year. Isn't that a net positive? We're focused on Cleveland this week, period.
Belichick had a rule that he didn't want any player to participate in any interviews about them as an individual.
The media wants to know everything about, I'm not going to talk about somebody else's injury. I'm not going to talk about, somebody else's play.
That's the Patriot paranoia or whatever.
He definitely got us in the right path. Kind of put the blinders on, like we're, horse race, and just kind of focus in on what we had to do.
Hold on, Mr. Chris. Didn't you just tell me all about Brady's leadership? Yes, Brady was a great leader. But no matter how great he was, it wasn't his job to create that type of winning culture. That's Belichick. And that focus was essential to the Patriots' success.
I think it was Super Bowl 38. The whole week before we played, Bill was really adamant about not saying anything.
Carolina was a young team that had accomplished a lot, and those guys were talking trash.
And I remember collectively, I think we were all kind of irritated that we really couldn't say something back.
Coach Belichick was like, hey, guys, we're going to focus on us. We're not going to, respond to anything.
This is going on for 2 weeks.
We took it let me tell you something, bro. We were so humble as a group. We had some dogs on that team. We had some dogs. And on Sunday, our fire was boiling.
Here's what gives me chills and the hair on the back of my neck stand up as I'm thinking about it before I even say it. In the NFL, it's pretty much, the coaches just open the door and they say, go get him, right? You're not at college. This isn't rah-rah. And I remember him saying, I've told you guys to keep your mouth shut. That's over. He's like, now start talking.
Oh, it took us to the next level.
I've never seen a more reserved group of guys go batshit crazy. Anyone who was in the way of that door got knocked over. And if you go back and you play the tape, the entire team was at the 50-yard line. Like, we came to meet them in the middle of the field because he had said, go ahead. Him knowing what we needed, that particular moment, at that particular time in my life, top 5 easy.
We kept receipts, and all week we was freaking motivated. And I say this again, thank you for all the inspiration and motivation. Just what we needed to kick y'all ass.
A football game is the tip of the iceberg. What you see on TV is actually being supported by a huge system underneath the surface. And for the Patriots, that system was built by Belichick. Coming up, the man, the myth, the legend, Gronkowski.
Story time with Gronk, with Rob Gronkowski.
Love you, Coach. Love you, Tom. Coach Belichick, he was a disciplinary. He was fierce. He knew the game of football inside and out. It was like a dictionary to him, and he knew every word and every definition. One time, going into my sophomore season, I told Scott Zolak in the production meeting, hey, it's gonna take 6 guys to tackle me this year. So Scott Zolak went up to the booth, and he said, Gronkowski, he's gonna be on a different level this year. It's gonna take 6 guys to tackle him, maybe the whole entire roster. The next day, Coach Belichick, right in front of the team, said, we don't need to be going out there and telling everyone it takes 6 guys to a whole roster to tackle you. You gotta be more humble. You don't want to fuel the other team. The whole entire team laughed because I wasn't really being serious to Scott Zolak. And that situation right there, you started understanding the Patriot way, how Coach Belichick runs a tight ship. Love you, Coach.
Story time with Gronk.
Look, even average coaches have their moments. Winning seasons are hard, but a lot of teams do it. But the key for why Belichick deserves more credit is his sustained success. It took the Patriots 18 years to win 6 Super Bowls, 9 appearances, all with a single head coach. The only other team to win that many titles are the Steelers, and it took them 35 years and 3 head coaches. In the modern NFL, the Patriots' run should be impossible to do.
The goal of the league is to have everyone be pretty good. Commissioner Goodell has desperately attempted to have parity in the league. Desperate.
There's a salary cap.
This free agency.
If you finish at the top of your division, one year you're going to have to play the division winners the following year.
To be the Patriots and go to the AFC Championship game every year is pretty remarkable because it's not built to work like that.
To just have that year after year after year, is incredibly difficult.
And the fact that this coach and quarterback duo were able to go to the AFC Championship game more times than they didn't is got to be one of the great records in the history of sport.
When a team wins the Super Bowl, you not only have 31 other teams gunning for it, you have what Pat Riley calls the disease of me. Everyone thinks that they had a little bit more to do with the Super Bowl than maybe they did. And everybody wants a little bit more money. And everybody wants to be congratulated a little more and told how great they were just a little bit more.
Now it's easier to say, do I need to wake up at 5 in the morning and get to work? I've already won. I've already accumulated the ultimate prize.
It's tough because once you win that first Super Bowl, all the guys, oh, hey, we did it. And guess what? You have a tendency to take a deep breath and relax. Not us.
Bill Belichick will win, we'll celebrate it for a night, and then it's right back after it.
When we won a Super Bowl, it was usually the hardest offseason we ever participated in. Because he knew how hard it was to get a team to now get refocused and try to do it again.
Coach Belichick, he was the orchestrator. He came in and said, look, guys, we had a great year last year, but guess what? This team is different this year. At the end of the day, it's about this year. No one cares about what you did last year. So he had the power to come in and manipulate our minds to get us to erase everything that we've accomplished.
How do we get everybody's mindset in this whole organization to stop thinking I'm the best in the world and move on? Coach Belichick had some unique ways of don't wear any Super Bowl gear in this building. I don't care if you're a player, faculty, I don't want to see it. That's done, it's over with. Wear it when you're done and you're retired.
He kept us so humble and hungry. I call it humble and hungry because we stayed hungry. And I was surprised by how motivated so many guys were. Like, guys were motivated. They were running extra sprints. They were excited. And I'm like, we just won a Super Bowl. And these guys still got this level of excitement. Dude, it was just so freaking fantastic because you just don't get that. I've been on teams where, you know, we win 3 or 4 games in a row and then guys get comfortable. But here we are, and despite all the success, we're still hungry. Special.
But Mad Dog, didn't you just say in the last episode that Tom Brady was the one who made the Patriot way possible? Hey, listen, I'm not going to argue against his influence. We all know it. We get it. But you always need buy-in from your team, and that's just the reality of success, sustained success. Tom Brady was a critical part. We know that. He was really important, but he wasn't responsible for developing and sustaining it year after year after year. That's Belichick. In episode 1, we talked about how Brady was as smart as a head coach. It's why he's the GOAT, right? Again, I'm going to keep asking this question. How do you think he got that way?
Is Bill a genius?
It's an interesting conversation.
Yeah, Belichick is a genius.
I believe he's a football genius, a football mastermind.
Well, I think you go like Aristophanes. I think you'd follow up with like a Plato, and then you'd get to Oppenheimer, and then you'd go Belichick.
Albert Einstein is a genius. Bill Belichick is a tremendous football coach. If he was a genius, he wouldn't be a football coach.
Is he a genius when it comes to his mind and the game of football? I'd argue that every single day.
I appreciate that. I really do.
Bill's the greatest football mind I've ever seen or been around.
His knowledge of the history of the game is incredible.
To me, changed in the mid-'80s. I mean, Lambeau started in, what, 1921? That's really where it started to go, was in the late 60s.
God, he's forgotten more about football than we'll ever know.
He's an encyclopedia of knowledge, and he can layer that on top of everything.
It's like, you know, where is this all kind of connected?
You know, Bill's famous for being able to recall a moment.
I was in Milwaukee when I was with the Lions. Cowboys went to the spread punt.
I was coaching 1986.
And they kept 2 gunners split, and the snapper blocked a guy.
It was 3rd and long. We had about 18 minutes, you know, left in the game.
Got an I formation, sprinted out, play action fake, Rob Taylor, first down.
I mean, it's unbelievable. He knew every single detail of a scenario, and then he's going to base how he approaches things that week on the knowledge from the past. I don't know how many coaches do that. I don't know how many coaches have logged and cataloged that much information. He does it. This guy's on another level.
It's a pretty hard job. Yeah, it's a pretty hard job.
His ability to cram and just do football for 24/7. When he stops, it's sleep. When he goes, I think he's awake doing football.
I know there's other teams in the league where guys are out by like 6 or 7. No, the Patriots are there till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, if they even sleep at all.
You know, we travel with the team, and, you know, I'm sort of sitting catty corner to Bill behind him, and he's up there, and he's got two computers out, pencil behind the ear. This is like on a West Coast flight. We're coming back from a game. It's 5 hours of just straight work. Straight work.
I mean, just the stamina to do that for months on end is just unreal.
And that type of appreciation set the tone for the organization, set the tone for Brady. It's the way Brady operates. And Tom will tell you, I operate the way I operate because of Bill. I wouldn't work that way if Bill didn't make me work that way.
The quarterbacks would come in on Tuesday, and we'd have this incredible meeting where he'd sit down and he'd go through the lineage of a defensive coordinator. He was tutored from this guy. That's where this whole defensive structure started from. This is his premise. And it was kind of a master class in football when I first came in, just understanding the game through his eyes and understanding why we were doing what we were doing.
Belichick's work ethic. It blows Brady's right out of the water. Coming up, ever wonder why they say defense wins championships?
They had a better plan. Regardless of your plan, theirs was going to be better.
Have we changed your mind? Invested in the answer? Get ready for the next episode. Scandals, breakups, plenty more.
Belichick's defense is so good over the years is the preparation.
That was his defense. They were so well prepared. They knew what was going to be coming at them. Friggin' awesome. That's what it is.
Probably the biggest thing he did consistently over the years was adjust to take away what you did best. Take away what the other team does best and force them into mistakes. Pretty simple, huh?
The teams that are the greatest teams in history are that because they could walk out onto the field and say, how do you want to play today? We'll beat you that way.
There are teams where the coaches say, we do what we do.
We do what we do. For us, it's business as usual.
The scheme, the philosophy is very much intact.
And whenever the Patriots would play a team that, quote unquote, just did what they did, that's when Belichick was at his best.
Belichick is, I think, the best in NFL history for his ability to adapt.
They could morph offensively and defensively into a completely different team just in a matter of days.
1 week, they're a 3-4 defense, and the next week, they're a 4-3 defense, and the next week, they start out with 5-2 alignment on defense. So Belichick's ability to adapt was always a cut above.
What's the saying? Defense wins championships? Well, let's follow. Over Brady's Pats career, the team allowed 18.4 points per game and only ranked outside the top 10 3 times. That is the overall top-scoring defense in a 20-year period. But let's go deeper. Look at low-scoring games. The Patriots won twice as many low-scoring games as the league average. These are what you call defensive wins, meaning a team with any other coach and even a great quarterback would lose a lot more. So how did Belichick do it?
The Patriots could do it because they were smarter than you.
Nobody was better at breaking down film and scouting the opponent than Bill Belichick. Picking up trends, kind of breaking the code, if you will.
He sees the game differently. He processes the game differently. There's no stone unturned. He was obsessively prepared.
They had a better plan. Regardless of your plan, theirs was going to be better.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah.
Last episode, we talked about Brady's game-winning drive against the Rams in Super Bowl 36. But let me remind you, the only reason that the Pats were in a position to win that game against a great offense was because of the ingenious defensive game plan from Belichick.
Mike Martz and the Rams in Super Bowl 36, getting ready to win 2 out of 3.
The Rams had already won a Super Bowl. They're the greatest show on turf. They're a high-powered offense. Marshall Faulk is as good an all-purpose back as the league had seen.
So I thought the Rams were going to win. Most people thought the Rams were going to win.
I mean, it's not supposed to be even close.
Can anything or anybody stop this Rams offense?
Well, the game plan, it all centered around stopping Marshall Faulk.
They realized that they had made a critical error when they played the Rams the first time. They had blitzed Kurt Warner. He had diced them up.
Warner again, great protection over the middle, touchdown.
The second time around, they had realized that the Rams offense ran through Marshall Faulk.
If we just want to stop 50 or 60% of their offense, you got to stop Marshall Faulk. And so the game planning we put together was to make sure we made life very difficult on Marshall Faulk.
The ultimate weapon.
We're going to knock the snot out of Marshall Faulk on every play, whether or not he's got the ball.
If Marshall Faulk stepped up to block, we were going to hit him. If he flared out for a swing pass, we were going to hit him. If the play was away and he was just sitting there picking his nose, we were going to hit him.
Marshall Faulk, nothing.
Most teams would not leave their rush to go hit a running back to make a point. We did it in that game.
Look how they surround him. I mean, this Patriot defense has done their job.
It just showed the coaching mismatch that Belichick often brought on Sundays and in the biggest of games.
Everybody loves Brady's game-winning drives, especially Patriot fans. But it does help to have a defense that always keeps you in the game. Brady doesn't have to score 50 points. Brady played with a top 10 scoring defense 17 times. For context, Aaron Rodgers had a top 10 scoring defense 4 times in his entire career. Same goes for Drew Brees. Coming up, this iconic moment in Super Bowl history is actually a tactical masterclass from you-know-who.
Bill's like telling me, we set that up.
The NFL is not college football. It's far less about recruiting and individual great performances. NFL players need to buy into a system. They need to be disciplined and prepared week in and week out, and that responsibility is the head coach, and nobody did it better than Belichick.
It'll always be the debate who deserves more credit. And I just come back to this. No team was better prepared than the New England Patriots in the 20 years Tom Brady was the quarterback, and that you have to give to Belichick.
Because he prepared for every single scenario.
When the Patriots, we used to joke about any stupid thing would happen. They'd say, yeah, we worked on that on Friday. The ball hits the face mask of the other team, bounces off, and it goes to your guy. And yeah, we worked on that on Friday.
We walked through situations, we watched them on tape, and we practiced situations. So situational football wasn't new to us.
But they were also prepared for situations that, people didn't often think about. You would see things at the end of practice like, wow, they're practicing that.
Things you think about, you practice, and like, geez, when the hell is this going to happen? Are you kidding me?
We would practice a 2-point play for years and had never run it until it counted the most.
And if it resulted in a positive play once a season, it was worth it to him.
So Belichick is studied. He's prepared. He's clutch. If there's any coach you would want in the biggest of games, who would it be? The answer is probably Belichick.
Something people probably don't believe about Belichick that is true is he's willing to take chances and take risks, take gambles.
Yeah, he doesn't coach scared. And I think that's one of the things that he took a lot of pride in.
We saw it with his strategy in games. Those were bold strokes, and he's not afraid to do them.
He had confidence in his players to go out and win the game, and confidence in himself that he would put them in a position to win the game.
There are countless examples of Belichick's tactical genius, but there's one game that brings it all together. Super Bowl 49. Let me paint the picture. Fourth quarter, Patriots lead by 4 points, but the Seahawks are driving. Down the field they come.
The clock's running. It's getting down under 30 seconds. Everyone is expecting Belichick to call timeout.
Timeout, Patriots, call timeout. You call timeout, it doesn't hurt you. Call timeout.
I thought Belichick was out of his mind. I thought that he was making a huge mistake.
I'm sorry. What he needed to do in that spot was call timeout.
Instead, Belichick is on the sideline in one of the most insanely pressurized moments in sports history.
A little bit of confusion on the Seahawks sideline. Didn't want to help him out.
And at that point, Belichick decided that he definitely wasn't going to call timeout because he wasn't going to let them off the hook.
Because he sees Pete's going to panic and throw the stupid slant pass, so let him do it.
It was a freaking risky play.
It proved I'm wrong because he didn't call timeout. They got an interception, and he won the game.
I would love to know Belichick's heart rate in that moment. What he did in that moment was ice cold. This shows the next level thinking of him. No coach is doing that with a Super Bowl on the line, with legacies on the line.
But in this case, they did work on that on Friday.
We knew that they liked those kind of routes. We called them pick routes. So that happened to Malcolm on a practice sometime during the week, and Bill gets after him. Malcolm, this is all we talked about. They love these plays. How can we put you in the game and you don't notice? The fact that Malcolm got chewed out about that play, when he lined up, he was like, it's the play. I'm going and I'm running to this spot, and I just know it, and that's exactly what happened.
Preparation for that moment is really the thing. You know, no surprises. Like, this is sort of what we'd expected to happen. A coach is always showing examples of, here's the opportunity. And then the game comes up and, oh, there's the opportunity.
Yes, they had great players, but none of that matters if you don't have the coaches to prepare the players. And they were supremely prepared for that moment.
At the end of the game, I said it was the dumbest call in Super Bowl history to throw the ball, not hand it to Marshawn Lynch. Bill heard the call. We're getting ready to go to the parade. Bill calls me and he goes, hey, come here, I want to show you something. He said, I heard what you said about Pete, saying it was the dumbest call in Super Bowl history. We set that up.
I've heard Bill talk about earlier in the fourth quarter, they had a 3rd and 1 inside, I think maybe the 12-yard line or something. They run it, and we stuff Marshawn Lynch.
Dante Hightower shut it down. They had a 2-yard loss on the same sort of formation with Marshawn Lynch in the game, same personnel.
And I remember him saying, as a coach, that sticks out in your mind whenever you need a yard and you can't get a yard.
He goes, we did that early in the game, so we knew that we're going to get them to check to that pass. So it's kind of staying two steps ahead. And he goes, you got to give Pete some credit here, because he knew that, shit, we shut that down. Okay, I swear. Shoot, we shut that down earlier in the game. And shoot, they knew they were going to throw it right to Malcolm. And Bill's like telling me, we set that up.
Belichick used the famous saying from the Chinese, art of war, most battles are won before they're even fought.
For them to have Malcolm Butler, this no-name, nobody from backwoods Mississippi, primed and ready to make arguably the biggest play in Super Bowl history, is just a testament to Bill's genius in terms of in-game strategy.
Okay, you've heard both sides. Swayed your opinion yet? Well, we're not done. There's still lots of this argument to go.
Now, that might be more about Phil.
Next episode, things get more complicated. I'm sitting down with some brilliant friends to discuss whether any of this matters if the Patriots were really cheaters.
Was he over the line or was he at the line? That's the question.
Now, what about Tampa Bay? I'll tell you why that argument is the kiddie pool of this debate.
That's a bunch of bull.
I think the only way to wrestle with it is with stupidity.
We'll look at stats, fashion choices, breakups, and scandals, all of it leading us to our final verdict.